In a quiet little town called Maple Grove, tucked between long country roads and wide open fields, there lived an elderly woman named Mrs. Harper. She was small and slow-moving, with soft gray curls and warm eyes that always seemed to understand more than you said. Everyone in Maple Grove knew her, not because she was rich or important, but because she carried a peacefulness that made people feel lighter just standing near her. She lived alone in a tiny white house, with a creaky porch swing that faced the old community park. Her husband had passed many years ago, and she never had kids of her own. Still, every morning she sat on that porch swing with a cup of tea, watching neighbors walk by, greeting everyone with the same gentle smile. Life in Maple Grove wasn't always easy. Some folks worked long shifts at the factory outside town. Others ran small diners, fixed cars, or worked at the school. When the winter storms came early, or the economy slowed down, people felt it. Bills stacked up, hours got cut, and stress hung in the air like heavy clouds. One crisp fall afternoon, a young mother named Emily hurried up Mrs. Harper's driveway. Her face was red from crying, and her hands shook as she tried to wipe away the tears. "Mrs. Harper," she choked out, "I don't know what to do anymore." The old woman nodded, motioning for her to sit beside her on the swing. Emily lived just a few streets away. Her husband, Noah, had gone to Chicago to find steady work after losing his job at the local repair shop. Weeks passed, and he still hadn't sent money or even called. Emily was juggling 2 small kids, overdue rent, and a heart full of fear. "I keep imagining everything going wrong," Emily said, staring at the ground. "What if he can't find work? What if he's hurt? What if he never comes back?" Her voice broke again. The wind rustled the orange leaves in the park. Somewhere across the street, a dog barked. Life went on, but Emily felt stuck, trapped in her own thoughts. Mrs. Harper placed a gentle hand on her arm. "My dear," she said softly, "tell me, what do you think is going to happen?" "I don't know," Emily whispered. "I just feel like the worst is coming." Mrs. Harper shook her head with a smile, not a dismissive smile, but one full of understanding. "When we let our minds run toward fear, everything around us grows darker," she said. "But when we guide our minds toward hope, even a little, the world opens up." Emily looked confused. "How am I supposed to think good thoughts when everything is falling apart?" Mrs. Harper leaned back and began a story. "Years ago," she said, "there was a man in this town named Henry. He lost his job, his home, and almost all his hope. One day he sat by the old river bridge, crying. He felt he had nothing left. I found him there," she continued, "and I asked him what he still did have." Emily frowned. "What did he say?" "He said, 'Nothing,' but I pointed at the river flowing under the bridge, the sunlight on the water, the sound of the wind through the trees. I told him, 'If you only look at what's missing, your heart will stay empty. But if you look at even the smallest good thing, your strength begins to return.'" Emily listened quietly, the swing creaking under them. Mrs. Harper continued, "Henry didn't suddenly become rich. His problems didn't vanish. But every day he forced himself to notice one good thing, just one. And slowly, he found courage again. Courage helps us do the next thing and the next, until life begins to shift." Emily breathed out shakily. "Do you really think thinking differently will change anything for me?" "It will change you," Mrs. Harper said, "and that's where everything begins." Emily sat with those words. They didn't magically erase her problems, but something inside her softened. That night, and the next morning, and the morning after that, she whispered to herself, "Today will be a good day. I can handle today." The problems were still there, kids to feed, bills to manage, but Emily felt a little steadier. She reached out to neighbors, took extra shifts at the local diner, and stayed hopeful even on the hardest days. Then, after a few weeks, a white envelope arrived in her mailbox. Inside was a letter from Noah. He had found a construction job in Chicago and was finally able to send money home. He wrote that he missed them, that he loved them, and that he was doing everything he could to make life better. Emily ran straight to Mrs. Harper's house, waving the envelope in the air through her tears. This time, tears of relief. Mrs. Harper smiled like she already knew. "You see," she said, "positive thinking doesn't erase problems, but it gives your heart the strength to face them, and sometimes that strength invites good things in." And in Maple Grove, people slowly learned the quiet power of Mrs. Harper's wisdom. What you focus on grows. When you choose hope, even in small amounts, life becomes a little lighter and a little brighter. So maybe today, wherever you are, take one moment to notice something good. Just one thing. You never know how much it might change.